Hello everyone, welcome to Free Training Thursday. Today I have David Lamb here with me from Amicus Attorney, and he'll be talking to us about custom pages. The webinar will be approximately 30 minutes total with a 20-minute presentation followed by a 10-minute Q&A. Please feel free to insert your questions into the GoToWebinar control panel throughout the presentation and we'll answer them at the end. Without further ado, I'll turn it over to David and let him take it away.
Thank you very much. Welcome today. Thank you for attending. Today we're going to be looking at customizing Amicus Attorney using custom pages. So what are custom pages and custom fields? Amicus Attorney is a repository for a lot of information about your contacts and files. There are phone numbers and time entries, there are appointments and task entries, to name just a few, but there's bound to be some information you need to know about your contacts and information you need to know about your files that is unique to your firm. An example might be the date of birth for your contacts or a court action number on a file. There is nowhere in Amicus out of the box to put that information. You could put it in a note or in a summary field, but the problems with that is everybody going to remember to put the date of birth in the same place and in the same format. How do you find it on a contact card? So Amicus allows you to customize the program by adding custom pages and custom fields to contacts and files. Let's define the terminology first. A custom page is a page that holds a number of custom fields. One of those fields might be date of birth or marital status. And you can have multiple custom pages, each containing a number of custom fields. In Amicus Attorney, there is no limit to the number of custom pages and custom fields you can have on contacts and files. So you can go crazy. The kind of information you might find on contacts as opposed to files, date of birth and social security number would be information about your clients and contacts. A court action number or accident location would be information you need on your files. So let's open up Amicus. Now, to add, delete, or modify custom pages and fields, you need to be an administrator in Amicus Attorney. If you are an administrator, the administration functions will appear here in your office module. If you're not an administrator, you won't see the administration section at all. So let's start by adding a page to our contacts in the people module. Let's add a place where we can enter a contact's date of birth and their social security number. To configure the custom pages and custom fields, select Custom Pages and Records under Administration. And our custom record management page opens. Now, since we're adding custom pages and fields to our people module, our contacts, we select People. We're going to add a brand new custom page, so simply click the button New Custom Page. And we give the page a name. Because we can create multiple pages on our contacts, it's a good idea that we identify them. So we're just going to call this one General Information. And we're going to leave its availability on People, although I could assign this to the files if I'd said, sorry, wrong place. Or I could have this common page appear on our people and files. But since date of birth and our other fields are going to be strictly people fields, we're going to leave that here on people. Let's click OK. Okay, so we're going to create our new custom page. Here it is. This is the page layout screen. It looks similar in layout to a contact card with the business card up here, and all of our custom information is going to be down here below the card. Here are the available field types on the left-hand side. You can see we have text, labels, lines, frames. The text labels lines and frames, you can see they have little asterisks with them. They're not really fields. They allow us to make the page pretty by, say, putting a line under something. The actual fields are here: text field, memo fields, drop-down lists, so a lot of different fields. So I want to add date of birth. That is a date field, so select the field. And once we've done that, in the card area here, just draw out where you want that field. So you can see I have a little, where my cursor has turned into a crosshair. I'd like to put that right about here. Using my left mouse button, just draw it out. There we go. Now the field appears on our page. Notice it has this generic Amicus date 1. We want this to be date of birth. So right-click inside the field, or right-click inside the text and show field attributes. And the field attribute box opens. There are 2 attributes that we need to change, and you'll find them here under Field Basics. And the first one is the field name. This is the name that will appear in the Amicus database. And this is the name that will appear when we select this field for document assembly or for modifying our file intake form, etc., the actual field name. So let's give this field name date of birth. Okay. Now, let's go on to our next part that we want to modify, which is the label text. The label text is the text that's actually going to appear on the screen to you users in Amicus. Now, best practice, of course, is that they should be as close as possible. Oh, when I click into label text, it says spaces and special characters such as are not permitted. Don't worry about that. What it means is it didn't like the spaces, and you notice what it's done now is it's automatically put in the underscores. So I just click OK, and that's done. You could put them in manually. If you don't, you'll get that little notice. Not a problem. It just doesn't like spaces. So again, our label text is going to be date of birth. Okay. And now we click the X to save. And here we have our new field, date of birth. Now you can put this anywhere you want on the screen. You notice I get the little crosses. I could move this over here. I could move the text on top. So however you want to do it, I call this making it pretty. You can do that. There you go. Okay, so the next field that I want is the Social Security number. We actually have a field for that, Social Security number. And again, draw it out. I'm going to match it right here. Now again, it says SS1, so we want to right-click, show field attributes, change SS1 to Social Security number. It's going to give us our little warning. It's going to put in the underscores, change it to Social Security number. And again, the X, and there we go. Now, I can, of course, move these around. Let's move that out there. You notice I get some little lines that help me line things up. I can stretch our little bounding box. Now, just a little note about the bounding box. The bounding boxes around the text, make sure that they do not overlap the actual field area too, because if they do, it's going to cut them off when you look at them on screen. And again, we get some little lines when we line this up. There we go. Nice and pretty. Okay. Now, say for example, we put in a text field instead of a date field for this and said, oh, rats, I better put in a date field. You can delete these. Simply right-click and delete the field. Now, if you do that, you're going to get a little warning that you're going to lose any data that was associated to that field in any of your contacts. So just be aware of that. It's better to make these kinds of decisions when you're actually authoring these custom pages than when users have been entering data. Right, so that's our first little page, and I'm going to even make it a little more pretty than I have now. I'm going to add a frame to it. Again, these three, text, label, line, and frame, aren't really fields. What they are is, you notice I have a crosshair. Just going to put a nice little frame around that. Isn't that pretty? Very nice. Okay, and we are going to save and close to save that page. All right, so now we have, under people, we have our page. What appears next is when I look, I get a little plus sign beside people. When I click that, you'll see my page general information is listed. So that tells us that we have created that. I'd like to make a new page for some family information. I want to add a field for marital status, which will be a drop-down list. So let's do that. So I've selected people again, and new custom page, and I'm going to, again, give this a nice name, family information. Click OK, and here comes our page again. All right, I wanted to add that field marital status to be a drop-down list. Here's drop-down list. Select the type of field, draw it out on the page. Okay, now again, right-click and show field attributes, field name, marital status. Puts in our little underscore, label text, marital status. Now, this is a drop-down list. So what we need to do next is we need to actually create the list items. Drop-down list items. Click in here, and now an ellipsis, little three dots appear. So we click the ellipsis to add our drop-down list items. So let's add our marital status. We click new. The first one will be married, and apply. New, separated, and apply. New, divorced, and apply. New, free as a bird, and apply. These are items. Now we can order these. I'm going to put free as a bird at the top. And if you wanted to remove any of these or edit any of these, you can simply select and click the appropriate button. So those are the list items in our new marital status drop-down list. And close, and again, click the X, and there's marital status. Let's make sure that our text doesn't overlap. We're good. Okay. And let's add another field. Let's add the date of marriage. So again, that is a date field. Draw it out after selecting the field. Right click, show field attributes. Date of marriage. Date of marriage, X. Make sure the fields don't overlap. And there they are. That is my second page. And again, save and close. And now we click OK. And we have our pages. Now, how do these appear on our contact cards? Those two custom pages will appear on every single contact card that we have in the system. So we go into our people module. Let's just take Clark Admiral. You're going to find the new custom fields down here under custom page. And when you click that, here are our two fields, general information with date of birth and social security number, and family information, marital status and date of marriage. Free as a bird, general information, date of birth. You could select the date of birth. You could even type it in, social security number, type it in. And again, these two pages are available on every single contact card in our database. So that's how we can customize our people module by adding information to our contact cards. Now, let's add some pages and fields to files. As I said, the custom pages and fields that we just created for our contacts appear for every single contact you have regardless of their contact group. But file custom pages are file specific. I can create different pages and fields for each file type. And that's because the type of information I need about a file varies depending on the file type. On a real estate file, I might need to know the property address and the closing date. On an automobile accident, I need to know the date of the accident and the location of the accident. So let's create some custom pages for our files. Same place, back to our office, under Administration, Custom Pages and Records. And this time we're going to select Files. And click the little plus side to drop down. Now, any file type with existing custom pages will have a little plus. Now you notice all of mine do. That is because I have Amicus billing. And when I have Amicus billing, you will see that there is e-bill information and e-bill information chub. These are for our billing pages. You will not see these custom pages at all unless you are on the billing side of a file and you have that file set up for e-billing. So these are really invisible and they really don't concern us when we're adding our basic custom pages and our custom fields. So we're going to customize the automobile accident file type. So we select that. And again, new custom page. So on our first page, we're going to have general information. It's on the files. Again, you have the same option to put this on people or both. And only of file types, you can share this to multiple file types. So say, for example, your litigation files, your different litigation files all had a common first page. You could have that page common to multiple file types. The next selection here under files is the page area. You can have, when you open a file, you know there are two parts. On the left-hand side, there's people on the file. On the right-hand side, there's our file facts or file Brad. You could have the custom pages cover both of those. So if you had a lot of custom fields, you might want to do that. If you don't, then I would recommend going to what's called the half-page view. That way you still have access to all of the information for the people on the file. So we're going to have a half-page view. So let's click OK. And again, up comes our editor. It looks very much the same as it did for the people module, except instead of a contact card, we have a file. This left-hand side, because we're doing a half page, is reserved for the people on the file, the right-hand side for our custom pages. So let's put in a field for date of accident. Again, right-click, show field attributes. Date of accident. And our label. Date of accident. There we go. Make sure we don't overlap. We're good. Now we can have a checkbox for was a police report filed, and our checkbox is right there. Police report filed. Now I could put in those underscores myself, but I'm just too lazy. Police report filed. And I'm going to put in a text field for location of accident. Location of accident. Now, text fields are for short bits of information, like a location of an accident or an address. Longer information, you should actually use memo fields. There we go. Now, if there's more information than will fit in this box, there will be a scroll bar that will appear. And again, I'm going to make this a little bigger, and you can see I can drag it down there and pull that in there. There we go. Make it nice and pretty. And there we have our general information, and we're going to save and close. And there we have our custom field for our automobile accident. So let's go check that out. Let's go into our files module. and into an automobile accident file. So automobile black auto accident. Similar to the people module, you're going to find your custom pages down here. Click custom pages, general information, there it is. Date of accident, police report filed, location of accident, and you could fill this all in. So our accident was on March the 12th, the police report was filed, Main and Oak Street. Save and close, and I have saved that information. And so that's how we can create the custom pages for our files. If we go into a different file type, for example, corporate, I've created some custom fields here under our corporate files. You'll find, of course, that they are different. I have, for example, corporate information and corporate details and corporate records. Different customization for different file types. Now it's very simple to edit your custom fields in your custom pages. Let's go back into the Office module again and do custom pages and records. Now let's take a look under people. I'd like to change general information, the name of that page, to personal information. Just select and click page properties. And there's the page name. I can just change that to personal information. And there it is. If I'd like to change any of the fields or the layouts, just click. You can see I spelled that wrong, so maybe I should go back in and spell it right. There we go, much better. Case in point. If I want to modify anything, just click on the page. You'll see the fields that are on the page over here in fields on the right-hand side. Click edit, and I could change anything I want. Add fields, remove, move around, make pretty, do anything I want, and save and close, and click OK. And so that's how you can edit any of your field information. Now, once you've created your custom fields, you can use them in document assembly. They're available in document assembly. You can use them in your file intake form. So for example, when you're creating a new file, if it was an automobile accident, you could say every time I click automobile accident, it would bring up a page to say, please enter the date of accident. And you can use them, you can share the custom fields to client through the client portal, and you can share custom fields to Amicus Anywhere. And so that's just a short kind of introduction to the custom fields in Amicus Attorney and how you can customize the program to hold the kind of information that your firm needs to know. Okay, so I think we're pretty much on time, which is pretty good for me. And I'll take any questions. Okay, can you, in effect, reuse fields? I think I know what you mean. Yes, you can. Say, for example, I wanted to add a new custom page for one of my other file types. Let's look under files. Let's take a look under my corporate information. Say registered corporate name. I wanted to use that for my directorship files too. I don't want that whole page. I just want that field. So under directorship, let's add a page. Let's just call it info. So I could create a new custom field, but I'd have to name it something different because it already exists in the database. Instead, go down to available fields and you will see all of our available fields listed down here, including, let's find it, our registered corporate name. So again, click it just like any other field. You would enter it here, registered corporate name, and now you've in effect reused that field instead of having to create a brand new one. So yes, indeed, you can in effect reuse those. Good question, thank you. Okay, well that about wraps it up for me.
Thank you very much, David, and thank you to everyone for listening. That concludes today's webinar. As a reminder, the webinar will be available on abacusnext.com/webinars and also sent to all participants. Thank you.
Thank you very much.